I was so glad to hear you say something about the child labor laws. When I was a kid, we picked beads and mirrors and chairs under school floors. I just think kids need to develop a work ethic early and get out from behind the Wii and the Xbox. And you're the first one I've heard say anything about that.
Well, I grew up on a farm, and you know what? My dad, if we didn't get out of the house, he put his size 10 in our behind and got us out of the house. We went out and we weeded sugar beets, and it was hard work. I can still remember starting to weed this field, and it was only a 40-acre field. And looking across the field, I was thinking, we're never going to get there. Because, you know, it took an hour to go down and back, and it was a long field. And I can still remember that we're never going to get there, but if you just keep your head down and keep working, it happens. It ain't going to happen the first day, it ain't going to happen the second day, but you keep working. Just like what we're going to have to do with this country. We got to keep our head down, keep working at it, and we're going to make this country whole again for our kids. But, yeah, this is part of the indoctrination. They're telling our kids, and believe me, I know the environment's important. We're not doing anything over that well that we're drinking from to contaminate it for our kids on the farm, for crying out loud. So the environment's very important, but they're indoctrinating our kids at school that the environment is more important than we the people. And that we got to be moved out of this corridor. This is strictly for animals. We're supposed to go to the middle of the country and then under Agenda 21, Transcontinental Highway, and we're all supposed to live there. This is what they got planned for America.
North American Union?
It's scary.
Yeah, it is.
It's scary. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is, what you're saying is all well and good, and I agree with it, and I think they're probably basically preaching to the choir. Now, my question is, I think you need to be like Pied Piper and start marching out there, and this month start following you and spreading the word.
Yep.
So, what is it? And the 1, 2, 3, or maybe your campaign manager here to help us out. What is the 1, 2, 3 besides putting your name on our letters that we're sending out? Besides, or an email. But besides that, what's the 1, 2, 3 that we need to be involved in and make sure people like abortion?
Okay, the first thing is, we're about a week away from the ballots being made out. So we're trying to get on the radio. We're trying to get on the TV. Funds are important. If you can all help on the campaign financially, it'll be beneficial. We do have a money blast coming out with Sarah Palin's group this week, and then we're going to have another thing coming out with Ron Paul later on. But time is of the essence. This is urgent right now. I mean, now is name recognition, ballots go out. The first people who vote and send it back are the elderly. The ones that they just took $500 billion from Medicare and Medicaid, stole it for the health care.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. So we're going to reach out and touch them first, and then we're going to be on the radio, television. The other things you can do is, again, the answer machine, the envelopes, call people. Call people, talk to your kids, talk to your grandkids, educate them. Go get them a Constitution. Tell them, just read this and understand it. 5,000-Year Leap. Read the 5,000-Year Leap. It's a great book about an explanation of our founding fathers. I've read it. I'm rereading it. I'm referring to it all the time. It was Benjamin Franklin that called that chaotic house that day. They were trying to put the Constitution together, and they broke out in a fist fight. Seriously, they were fighting it out. They were duking it out. And it was Benjamin Franklin that climbed on the table and said, "Men, we've got to come back to order if we're going to put this thing together." So they came back to order. They read Scripture for 2 hours. They prayed all night. Then they put the Constitution together. God played a big part in this. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I got involved with Clint Didier when he first came here because at that point I had looked at the word treason and decided.
My name wasn't by it.
I looked at the name, I thought, treason. I had to read it. And I decided that we needed to impeach the entire Senate.
Yes.
And the House of Representatives, those that have served for a number of years, for selling out our country to foreign nations, et cetera. So when I first met him, I took his sticker, the first one I ever there are enough conservatives on that other side. You have friends there. I have written to all my friends. I have sent his thing. I said, call, help, get going. I came home from Seattle recently, and I took every back room I could find, and I handed out his brochures. Electric City, Grand Coulee Dam, Cleo, I just did the whole round. So you can do it. You can get out and fight for it. And I still
That's right.
I think Rob had something to add too.
Just to follow up what you said, Shirley's done a great job working at a precinct, which is Riverwalk, that area there. But if anybody wants to email me, I can send you your precinct list to call in favor of Clinton, whatever candidates you want. So my email, I'll give you my card. My email, if you want to write it down, is Stripe like a tiger stripe, that was named after my cat. 340@comcast.net, and I'll email you. Send me your address. I'll email you your walking list back. There's phone numbers against each address there, and that would really, really cement the victory. I think.
Mr. Didier, as you may well know, since about 1970, we've swept about 15 million jobs, and there goes to say there's almost 20 million. Much of it's gone offshore, you already mentioned it. What's your solution for bringing this back? Should we consider the reindustrialization of America?
Yes, that's what I want. Through deregulation. That's what we got to get rid of. We got to get rid of the deregulation because it's costing people too much to go into business here and to stay in business. So we got to make it more profitable for them and less regulatory. Sir, you had a question.
Yes, getting back and piggybacking on what Rob said, one of the things we can do is use the internet to our advantage. You have a number of YouTubes out there. If we were only to pick one or two, which ones would you suggest that we send out to everybody on our list?
The YouTubes, the videos, that high school state championship before I ever declared is pretty powerful. Everybody says they're moved by that. And all I'm doing is coaching young men in a football game, trying to encourage them, trying to give them guidance, just being a leader. And it's powerful, it is. How many of you seen that YouTube? It's good. Yes, sir.
A hell of a lot of money available to be turned again.
Yes, sir. And I've always said, if God can run the world at 10%, why does our government need any more? That's right. Exactly right. That's where they're funding everything. They're funding the assault on us businessmen through taxation. They're funding all of this through taxation. And that's where we can get control. You're right. Yes, ma'am.
We have between, 12 to 20 million illegal immigrants in this country. We talked about security.
Yeah.
First of all, I consider it an invasion, so it's do have a right to
That's right.
do whatever they want. But what do we do? I mean,
But the people that are in here.
Yeah, I mean, just how would you solve the
Okay,
problem?
here's my solution to that. We secure the borders first so we stop anybody else from coming in. And I'm not just talking the south border. I'm talking about the north border too, because they're coming in there. The shorelines. We should secure our borders. Then we say, okay, come forward. Anybody here illegally, come forward. If they don't, we're going to tell them, warn them right off the bat. If you don't come forward, you're out of here immediately. If you come forward and you've been working here and you've been paying taxes, we're going to give you a 1-year visa. We're not giving no amnesty out here now. Don't get me wrong. No amnesty. We're going to give them a 1-year visa. Now, there's going to be an independent business created here by somebody in this country. They're going to keep track of all these illegals that are here. Not illegals, they'll be legal then because they'll be working under a visa. When they find out who they work for, half of their salary is sent to this agency, or not an agency, it's going to be it's going to be independent businessmen. Half the salary is sent there. He's going to get his funds out of those salaries, $2 probably per person. You know, 20 million people, that's $40 million. That money is waiting at the border. When they're done working, it's given to them. That's the enticement. That's the carrot that gets them back out of the country until they're back in the next year with another 1-year visa.
Half of their income.
Half their income's waiting for them at the border in pesos, not American dollars.